Thank you very much, Qamar, for letting me know that the sound wasn't working. So we've got the sound now. I hope you guys can hear me now okay. Sound, all right. So it should be all right now. Perfect. Philip, thank you very much, and welcome everyone to the stream. Thanks for letting me know the sound was, I guess my Streamlabs OBS was on mute. So this is Q8Pilot. Welcome to the stream, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the beautiful city of Muscat in the Sultanate of Oman. And today we are going to be flying the JARDesign A340-500. We are going to be cruising at about 32,000 feet. Approximate flight time today is 52 minutes. Welcome Stan, Noah, Captain Robbie, Jojo, Flight 678, Rodrigo. Welcome everyone to the stream. Now, I've had the pleasure of living in Oman for a period of 6 months. I was very young at the time, but it is a spectacular country with a lot of varied terrain. It's got a lot of mountains, it's got a lot of flatland, it's got desert, and it's got a lot of beautiful greenery in Salalah. So if you're ever in the region, you must visit Salalah. It is probably the Switzerland of the Gulf region. It's a beautiful place to visit. Very nice weather, mountainous terrain, lots of green. And the people of Oman are actually very kind people, quite generous. And there are also, Oman is known for its spectacular water springs. I will mention two of those that I personally visited, Ar-Rustaq and Thawara water springs in Oman. Oman, of course, is known for its very famous sweets. It's called the Halwa al-Omaniya, which is, it translates to Omani sweets or Omani candies. It's a very rich sweet dish or dessert, but it's quite delicious. And they're also known for a lot of different types of tea. They like to drink tea in Oman. And they've got two types. They've got the Sulaimani tea, and they've got just tea. And if you just order tea, then actually you'll get tea with milk. And if you want, just tea, plain old tea, then you must say that you want Sulaimani tea. If you're ever in the region, I highly recommend that you visit those places. I'm sure things have changed since the last time I visited Oman. But I've actually also attended high school there for, I think, a couple of months or so. So it was quite an experience living in Oman and really getting to know the Omani people. And if you're ever in the region, I highly recommend that you visit Souk Matrah, which is Matrah, like a traditional shopping area where you'll find traditional Omani clothes, and you'll find lots of really goodies, and you'll find those little swords, and they're very known. It's part of the traditional costume in Oman to wear the short knife or sword. It's part of their costume. A lot of things to know about Oman. But today we are going to be flying the JARDesign A340. So hello, Flight with Realism. Welcome, my friend. Abdul Khadr, hello my friend, and welcome. Glad to have you with us. Paul Walker, hello my friend. And we've got Mahad Mirza as well. Welcome. Wayne Rahan, welcome my friend. Oh, we've got from Chicago, we've got Paul from Texas. Austin, hello my friend, and welcome. I should be in Texas very soon, probably the end of the year. I should be in Texas on official business, so maybe we can meet there. Yeah. All right, so this scenery is a freeware scenery, by the way, of Muscat. Leaf, hello, my friend, and welcome. Leaf just donated 100 SEK. Is that Swedish? I'm not sure what currency is that, but thank you very much. Leaf, you are very kind, my friend. It's been a very long time since we spoke. I've read your email, Leaf. Thank you very much. I was wondering about you the other day, but I'm glad that you're fine. Dougal McTavish, my friend, welcome. Hello there. Glad to have you with us, Joseph, and Mr. X Gamer. Hello, my friend. Welcome. All right. So this scenery, ladies and gentlemen, is that of Oman. This is freeware scenery. It comes with the Ortho 4XP, so you can see the photoreal textures. Looks pretty good. But now, let's head over to the JARDesign A340. Now, okay, so the first thing I want to say is that what I'm about to say about this aircraft is in comparison to what I have seen in newer payware. And JARDesign is probably one of the very first developers. They've got a lot of very good add-ons for X-Plane, including ground handling. They're the first Airbus A320, and then there is the A330, and they've got X-Life, which is AI traffic for X-Plane. And now we've got this A340. Now, normally what I'd see in newer aircraft is that you see you see the fidelity is kind of getting better, and this is not worse from whatever JAR has developed in the past, but I think it's still at par with everything else that's been developed. By the way, this aircraft is not certified by Airbus by any means, and it is not a study-level aircraft according to JARDesign, but yet it is a fun aircraft to kind of look around. And we can see here, this is, by the way, the Ittihad livery, and it reads here, from Abu Dhabi to the world in Arabic. Min Abu Dhabi ila al-alam is the literal translation in Arabic. You can see that it is very resemblant of the A340, but the dimensions and the curvatures of the aircraft is not 100% based on the real-world footage that I have examined before making this stream. So while it does look a lot like the Airbus A340, there are a few very subtle differences. For a detailed eye, you will be able to spot those differences from the real-world model as opposed to what we see here in the sim and the 3D modeling of this aircraft. The texturing overall is done pretty well in my view. It's not bad. However, I do not like the over-exaggerated use of PBR on the aircraft wings, and this is kind of, it is kind of the trend with all JARDesign aircraft. They all have, kind of exaggerated PBR on the wings, and I'm not sure why, but it could be just me, but yeah, I feel that it's not very well made. It doesn't look very realistic in my view. If you look at the aircraft here, the nose, this doesn't look like the real A340. There is a little bit of difference in terms of the wing curvatures. So the real aircraft, you'd see that the wings are kind of pointing up a little more. So it could be the fuel and the aircraft, but I've tried emptying the aircraft, adding more fuel. You won't get anything different from what you see here, which is not 100% accurate when compared to the real aircraft. So let's hop into the cockpit. Now, this cockpit is not bad in terms of its texture work. However, that said, I think it is, how should I put this? First of all, Airbus doesn't look like this. Okay, so the textures are way off in terms of the color. And this is no different than what we've seen in the A320 and the A330 by JARDesign. So it's pretty much the same in terms of the coloring, in terms of the final finish is just exactly the same in my view. Though I must say that the textures are well made, they are sharp and crisp, they are 4K textures, and it looks more like the A330. So all in all, in a nutshell, this is an A330 with 2 more engines, if you will. So in terms of buying decision, I would Personally, I would not recommend that you purchase this aircraft if you already have the A330. So save your money, because there's an A340 coming out very soon by Tolis. And just by looking at the previous productions by Tolis, they are much higher fidelity than what we see here. Though I must say that it was fun flying this aircraft. If we look here at the overhead panel, we'll see that again it's done quite well. You know, very nice texturing. It's high resolution. Some really nice panel work. Nothing different really than the A330, but as you can see here, you know, it is done to an acceptable standard in my view. If we go back to the passenger cabin here, we can see that you know, first class is definitely modeled. Business class is modeled, which is a plus for those of you who like to see passenger cabins. As you can see here, we've got the business class and we've got the economy class as well. Overall, passenger cabin's done well, but for example, if I compare this to the I9 build aircraft, then of course it really does not compare whatsoever. You can see the nice reflections of the windows here, but again, not a bad passenger cabin. I do applaud the effort to really simulate, you know, what you'd see in the real aircraft, but of course, it is not, you know, the high fidelity that I would expect. Now, in 2021, I would expect something a little finer in detail and with a lot more in terms of the overall quality and the final finish. Right, so back to our flight now, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to go to SimToolkit Pro. We're going to say fly now. We're going to go to X-Plane 11, and that should put us at exactly where we want to be. The old plane about is more than ever. Never buy anything if it has not received the Q8Pilot seal of approval. Thank you very much, Leaf. I really appreciate it. Yes, so this aircraft does not receive the Q8Pilot seal of approval, and I will tell you right off the bat, I give the aircraft a final score of 6 out of 10. But we are going to see, we're going to fly the aircraft, we're going to do a full flight. It kind of, up in the air, it feels like a really heavy aircraft, kind of. It reminds me of flying the DC-6 or maybe the DC-3, which is, you know, it's got really high wingspans and it's kind of feels really heavy. But we'll see it live. Let's go ahead and bring up the MCD or the McDo menu. We're going to load our fuel. Let's go to SimToolkit Pro, bring up the operational flight plan, and we're going to put this all on right here. And right here. All right, so our final fuel today is going to be trip and taxi. Let's see, block fuel 14405. 14405, and we're going to stick that here. 14405 cargo. We're going to scroll down here. And by the way, this is, in case you don't know, this is the Lido format for the flight plans, and it's actually is very realistic. And I've seen real operating flight plans on the Lido format. They look exactly the same. If you take the format by Emirates Airlines, it's actually slightly different than what you see here. So cargo 1.4, 1,400 for cargo. That's kind of light. Passengers on board 263, but the maximum says here 250, so we're going to leave that to 250 and we're good to go there. All right, now we are going to go to ground handling, and let's see here, show control widget. Takes a while for the widget to come up, but let's see here. This is the GPU, I think. This is the GPU, and drive up. And now you can see that the GPU is available. So let's come here to the overhead panel. battery 1, battery 2, and APU battery, and we're going to turn on the external power. Now the sounds are exactly like the A330 and the A319. I'm sure there is a sound pack that's going to come out for this. Wayne, thank you very much. Appreciate your kind comment there. Really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. And we're going to turn on the fuel pumps. The sounds are exactly the same. I'm sure sound packs will come out, but again, if you compare this aircraft again to, for example, the I&I build and the high fidelity sounds, you know, I expect something better, again, for the price of the aircraft. But, you know, that's fine. We're going to put the ADIRS on nav mode, and we're going to scroll down here, and ground control is turned on. And packs, and let's see here, arm the emergency lights, non-smoking, fasten seatbelt sign are turned on, and nav lights are turned on, and everything's good here. All right, so now we are going to bring up Sim Toolkit Pro once more, and we're going to check our final cruise altitude, 34,000 feet, but I think again, really, the sounds are really lousy, but they'll do. 34,000 feet is now set, and while we're at it, let's go ahead and take a look at the weather information here at Muscat. QNH is 1,000. No significant change in the next couple of hours, so we're going to set this to 1,000. And there we go. All right. Now we're going to go to page init, and we are going to set the flight plan. Oscar, Oscar, Mike, Sierra to Oscar, Mike, Alpha, Alpha. Return. Flight number is EY or Etihad 2574. Flight number, and the cost index is 15. Cruise altitude is 340, and align IRS. Omari, hello my friend and welcome. Long time no see. How are you doing, my friend? Bugs Bunny, hello my friend, welcome. Is this plane worth the price? In my view, sir, it is not worth its price. And my recommendation is to wait for the TOLUS A340-500. So we've got now the zero fuel center of gravity, and the block fuel is all set. Now we can go to the flight plan. We are going to be departing runway 08 left today, and I'm not sure if there is any SID. Yeah, there is in the Ivato 25 or 2 Sierra. 2 Sierra. That's the one there. And we're going to insert that. Insert. And then we're going to go to Ivato. And we're going to select the airway. Now from Ivato, oh, actually, let's return because it looks like it's a direct, from Ivato direct to Despi. Let's see, okay. And then from Despi, it is direct to Lopil. And insert that. Perfect. And from Lopil, it is Airway Quebec 978. All right, let's go to Lopil and Airway Quebec, or Quebec 978. And we're going to exit at iTrax. And from iTrax, it's Airway Papa 899er. And exit at 6iv. Some really weird names there. 6iv. All right. And then direct to Abu Dhabi, runway 31 left. So let's insert that. Insert. And then we are going to be arriving. We're going to be performing an ILS approach, runway 31 left at Abu Dhabi. There is no star. And we are going to insert that. And we're going to check for discontinuities. There is one there. We're going to clear it and insert. And then we're going to make sure that, all right, so all is set here. Let's go to performance. And now for the performance, we can consult the, let's see here, let's go to the McDo. If you go to the load and fuel, you'll see that you're able to grab the position or the trim is up 1.1. So let's go back to performance and flaps 1, and the trim is up 1.1, and we're going to stick that here. And flex temperature 57, and stick that here. And now we should get our V1, V rotate, and V2. All right, all our speeds are set, and we are now, ladies and gentlemen, ready to start the APU. Again, as you can see, normally in the Airbus, when you turn on the APU master, you need to wait for the APU door to open, which takes a little bit of time. And then you're able to start the APU. And if you press the buttons in quick succession, it actually won't work in the real Airbus. So again, not a study level aircraft, still fun. I mean, the final verdict is, of course, for you guys to decide whether this aircraft is for you or not. As far as I am concerned, it is an enjoyable aircraft, but does not really offer much over the current JAR A330. Flight with realism, not worth it. If you say so, my friend, yeah. I think I would probably agree with you there. I'm not sure if this works or not. It does work. Well, that's cool. I'm glad that this actually works. We can see here, update. So there's the arrival airport, and all right, so now we can see that the APU is available. So we can turn on the APU bleed, and we can turn on the beacon, and we are pretty much now ready for engine start, pushback and engine start. You can see the time is now displayed here as 13:28 Zulu. And yeah, we are ready to push back. So we are going to be pushing back. Let's see, this is our departure runway. So we're going to push back this way here, and then we're going to taxi over to the runway for departure. Beautiful freeware scenery by of Oman. I highly recommend it. Again, if you are interested in getting this airport, just type in !DEP. And you should get the link to download this freeware scenery. Fly Guy, how are you, my friend? Welcome to the stream. Daniel, hello, my friend. The cockpit sounds they don't sound good. I agree with you, Daniel. The sounds are pretty bad in my view, and we need something better. Especially just really looking at all the Fidelity aircraft that has come out in recent months and recent years. This aircraft is not up to the standard that I expect to provide my seal of approval. So let's go ahead and go to better pushback. We're going to say
hey,
start.
Captain, let me know where you want this thing.
And that's the sound of our friendly castrator.
Great news, Captain. Your tow's coming.
All right. Some sad news, really, in the flight sim community. I don't know if you guys are aware, but Frugal or Frugal Sim or Frugal Pete has finally decided to retire from YouTube once and for all. Now, Frugal has been one of the very first people that I've watched on YouTube, and he's been an inspiration to me, along with Matt Davis. But yeah, he decided to pull the plug completely, and he has other priorities in life that he wishes to attend to. So we wish him all the best in whatever he endeavors in the future. Yes,
All
I
right.
agree with
Looks
you,
like the doors and
Dougal.
hatches are closed, and we're ready to connect.
It's a real shame. All right, we are connecting now. And we can, by the way, we can get rid of the, let's see, drive away. And we'll say, yeah, we don't need the GPU anymore. And we'll put this back on flight plan. What do you guys think of the model? It is okay, in my view. It is okay. It is not 100% authentic.
Toes connected, bypass pins inserted. Go ahead and kill the parking brake when you're ready to go.
All right, we are ready to go, folks. We are going to release the parking brake.
Here comes the pushback. Light them up.
And we have clearance from ground to start our engines. So engine mode selector to start, and we'll start with the engine number 1. You can see engine number 1 is now spooling. Now, I'm not very, I cannot comment on how accurate this is in terms of, you know, how fast, you know, the engine starts, but I would be interested to hear what V1 Simulations got to say about this aircraft. All right, engine number 1 is available. Let's go ahead and start the engine number 4. By the way, it's got this. By the way, didn't turn on our radios, so radios are now turned on. To me, it sounds as if the engine start is just a little too fast. I think in real life it may take a bit longer than that, because this is about what, a few seconds, maybe 15 seconds, and the engine is available. So I don't think it's very accurate, but I could be mistaken. I don't know. I just don't think so. And now we're starting the engine number 2. Mohammed says, don't try, Captain, to retire. Yeah, that's a fast start. Yeah, I agree, Danny. I think it's a really fast start. So, yeah, I think it's a fast start, if you ask me. So I think you guys agree. AvGeek agrees. Hello from Korea. Hello there, Brian. How are you doing, my friend? I think this is the first time I have a follower from Korea. Welcome. Right, looks like we can now dismiss this here. All right, let's come down here. And let's see here. Put this on auto. And TARA. Everything looks good. We can leave the squawk code as 2077. By the way, I did a flight on VATSIM the other day, and I thoroughly enjoyed flying on VATSIM. Very professional guys. And now the RTO is this one here. And we need to arm the speed brake.
Just about done here. Go ahead and set your parking brake.
And flaps 1. Parking brake is set.
And we're disconnecting the tow. Give me
And
just
we're
a
going to
moment.
wait for the tow to disconnect, and then we'll be ready to taxi to the runway. Well, Mohammed, just on the retirement bit, let me tell you guys just a little bit, and I think you know, Frugal has been affected by a lot of different things. Definitely, there's a lot of you know, there are a lot of events going on in his life, and that has motivated the decision, but also the fact that, you know, all the haters.
Passengers complains wet in the cabin too cold. May I ask you to increase the temperature?
The cabin is too cold. It can't be. We are in Oman, and the
we're
weather's quite
disconnected.
hot.
Signal and pin on the left. Take it easy and have a safe flight.
APU bleed. APU master is turned off, and we can now turn on the runway lights and nose to taxi. Wing lights are turned on, and pretty much everything is set. If we click on the config, it says cabin, and I'm not sure. Now you can see, by the way, the ground control is turned off automatically, and this is accurate because normally when the aircraft is at the stand, you want to record. This recorder only works on the ground when the aircraft is at the gate. As soon as the aircraft is in motion, then the flight recorder kicks in and it starts recording the conversation of the pilots in the cockpit. So this is at least accurate. Let's turn those on. All right, so everything now looks good. Those buttons don't work, but I think if you come to the PA and
cabin crew, please take your seats for takeoff.
Again, really lousy sounds there, but it doesn't seem to change anything here, so I'm not sure how to take care of this, but we are good. We are going to release the parking brake, folks, and we are on our way to Abu Dhabi. And let's take a look. There we go, that's the wing view. Again, the flap detent for flaps 1 seems a little too much, but again, I don't know. It's just, it seems that way. It seems that it's a bit too much. I think we're kind of carried away here. Yeah, overall, it, you know, the cockpit just really doesn't give you that feel. Here's a look at the airport and the surrounding area. Well, we've got, is it Balad from Paris, France? Hello, my friend. Welcome. Yeah, so the flaps, they look, the detent of the flaps looks a bit exaggerated for flaps 1. This is flaps 1. Nice wing flex. Again, I cannot vouch for its accuracy, but it looks good. Here's a look at the engine view, cabin view. There is an aircraft taken off there, or no, I think it just landed. What airline is that? Oh, it is a Etihad, I think. Live cockpits, saving my money for the Fila 747. It is a brilliant aircraft. I think V1 Simulation was actually streaming live at the time I started. The Fila 747 classic, brilliant aircraft by Filas, highly recommended. And I tell you guys, once the aircraft is released for the public, it is one aircraft that you should own, and it's quite accurate in a lot of ways, and programmed by Filas, of course, with inputs from a real 747 flight engineer. So yeah, definitely something very special, the Filas 747, and I can't wait for the Tolus A340-600. Live cockpits. Yep, I'm watching you both right now. All right, here we go. By the way, I think if we click this, not sure what it does, but all right. That's our departure runway 08 left. Not sure. What should we do with this? All right, let's bring up our landing lights, strobe lights, and nose light to take off. And we are, ladies and gentlemen, ready to go. All right, we are lining up, runway 08 left. We are cleared for takeoff. Live cockpits. Welcome to the VVIP membership, my friend. Thank you very much for your support. Stake this to about 50%. Manflex, SRS, and runway. Airspeed live. Sounds are pretty bad if you ask me. 80 knots, check. Rotate. Positive rate, gear is going up. Thrust climb. Now, as we make the turn, I'll tell you guys, this aircraft feels pretty heavy. It feels as if it's like a really heavy aircraft, and I'm not sure if this is, you know, characteristics of the aircraft or not, but it does feel very, very heavy. And it takes a while for the aircraft to respond to the input from my flight yoke. Right, autopilot 1 is now engaged. Speed check, flaps up. Right, we are now climbing, and we're gonna stabilize here at 240 knots until we pass 10,000 feet. The transition altitude is, I believe, 15,000 feet. Beautiful scenery of Oman, and the airport area, as you can see here, the mountainous terrain around the airport area is just absolutely gorgeous. There we go. Again, not the best of texturing here in the passenger cabin. Not the best of texturing in terms of the engines. The sounds are, you know, okay. In my view, not the high fidelity sounds that I would expect. And by the way, if you look at, for example, an aircraft like the Phenom, by Airbus. That aircraft is just absolutely amazing for its price. The fidelity, the sounds, the realism. Of course, we are not comparing apples to apples here, but just to kind of give you guys the, in terms of the price, the value for money, when you purchase an aircraft like the Airbus versus you purchase this aircraft, you will get a lot more enjoyment and probably a lot more education when you purchase something like the Phenom or the SR22 by I believe what is called Hot Start. Definitely a lot more. You get a lot more for the buck than this aircraft. Again, as you can see the shadows here. You can see that the texture work, while it is, you know, high quality in terms, so it's high resolution, it still doesn't look like the Airbus by any stretch of the imagination. Do you like X-Plane 11 or MS Flight Sim 2020? Well, I'll tell you, I like both, but my preferred simulator is X-Plane at this point. Rashid Yassin, how are you, my friend? Welcome. Good evening to you, my friend. Nice to see you here on the stream. Yeah, tonight we're flying to Abu Dhabi. The sim brief gave us a runway 31 left for departure today. Hot Start TBM, yeah, Hot Start. Sorry, yeah, you're right. The Hot Start TBM is one of the really one of the best general aviation aircraft, I think, created for X-Plane, along many others. I mean, there are just way too many aircraft. The Hot Start by TBM, the SR22, the IXCG 737, Fly JSIM fleet of aircraft. Just really a number of very high fidelity aircraft available for X-Plane 11. And I think, you know, we need to start becoming, I think developers need to start becoming a little more sensitive to the pricing, and I'm not sure what the aircraft is doing now. So it's doing some strange things. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to fly direct here, insert. There we go. Yeah, I was doing some strange things. But I tell you, I absolutely adore this scenery. And by the way, this is freeware, yeah? And it comes with the ortho 4XP. You actually have the ortho photos. You have the option of including it or not. But it just looks so amazing that I've decided to leave it here. Let's take a look at the outside. Just look at that. It's really gorgeous. Greetings from Vancouver, Captain. Off to Abu Dhabi today. Good looking out. Thank you very much, my friend. And welcome to the stream, and thank you for all your support. Standard. A little bit of turbulence here. Nice view out of the cockpit window here. Change the range. Just guys, look at that. Beautiful scene of the Omani capital as we depart Oman off to Abu Dhabi. Brilliant. By the way, this is AviTab integration, so it's got the AviTab here, just in case you're wondering. No any other features, so this is not an EFB by any means, just AviTab. We're not going to need this for this flight today. And we continue our climb. Now, if we look at our flight plan, you can see that the top of descent is not too far from top of climb. So it is a short flight into Abu Dhabi. Let's bring up some light. Actually, I'll show you guys some light here. We're going to turn on those here. You've got everything there. And there's one feature here. You can go to the light editor. You can add new lights, or you can open the list and change and add lights and things like that. I don't really care too much about it. And I think, you know, the aircraft should come with the original aircraft lights. But yeah, that's what things look like in the cockpit. Not very good, if you ask me. Alright, we're going to go ahead and turn off the fasten seat belt signs, and we're going to allow the cabin crew to begin the service. Turn off the lights, wing lights, everything else is fine. We can leave that. We continue our climb now to our cruise altitude, which is 34,000 feet for this flight. You can already see the display here, ILS 31 left. This is the top of climb point, where we need to be at 34,000 feet. And hopefully we'll be able to make it by then. Spectacular view of the Omani capital. I think this plane was rushed to the market to be the A340-600 developers. As a result, I think it is on par with the JAR planes that lack. I do agree with you there fully. And yes, indeed, the JAR design of aircraft, I have not really seen a kind of a development in terms of the quality, so there's no stepping up. But if you look, for example, at the I-9 build, the A300 when it came out, then we saw the Beluga, and you know, they've done quite a bit in terms of the overall finish, the fidelity, and then the airliner of the year to date, in my view, 2021, the I-9 build A310 is simply one of the very best add-ons for X-Plane 11, and it is one that really sets the bar very high for anything else that's going to come out for X-Plane 11. So to date, until this very day, I regard the I-9 build A310 as the airliner of the year 2021. I am anxiously waiting for the Tolos A340 and the Dash 8 Q400 by FlyJason. The screenshots of that aircraft are simply amazing. So I'm quite confident that there will be some serious contenders in the payware market for the I-9 build A310, but it's going to be very difficult to beat it if you really have a lot of attention to detail and you really study the aircraft and read the manuals, and you listen to the account of real-world pilots flying the A310. I will tell you that aircraft is going to be very difficult to beat in terms of its fidelity, in terms of the quality, the final finish. Just really an outstanding aircraft, the I-9 build A310. Whereas, you know, we're stuck with this A340 for now. But again, I mean, I don't want to be too harsh. By the way, I need to disengage the... I mean, I do appreciate the developer behind the JAR products. I've used a lot of the products, X-Life, for a very long time. Until this day, we all use, I think, ground handling, which is a brilliant product, really, by JARDesign. But I was waiting for something special, and in my last stream, I think I mentioned that I was a little bit disappointed in the JAR, and I will tell you guys why later. And now is the later where I'm telling you why I'm disappointed, because I don't really see any progress, any stepping up. Everything is pretty much the same. So another A330 with 2 more engines, and it's the A340. So yeah. Rashid says the thing sounds terrible. Looks yes, it does sound terrible. We've got with us Country MC. What about the MD-11 Q8 Pilot? Well, I haven't been really following the MD-11 progress, or maybe there hasn't been much news about it. I've read a few posts on the Threshold, my partners. Thank you very much for keeping us all informed. But nothing really much. Knowing Rotate Sim, though, I know those guys produce excellent aircraft. The Rotate Sim MD-11 or what is it? MD-80 is the Mad Dog. Is a brilliant aircraft. I absolutely love it. Love flying it. I think it's one of the best again for X-Plane. But I haven't heard much, so I'm not. Probably the release of that aircraft is going to take some time. So I could be mistaken. I don't know. They could just surprise us and boom, the MD-11 is out. But I don't know. I'm quite excited about the recent announcement from Flight Factor regarding the Boeing 777 version 2. I think it's long overdue. We definitely need one for X-Plane. And folks, we are going to need to enter the destination information. 37 nautical miles to top of descent. So let's bring up our Sim Toolkit Pro and let's see here. All right, so this is our destination, Dubai, beg your pardon, Abu Dhabi. Says wind shear conditions reported. Oh, all right. And let's see here, QNH is 9er. So 0999. Enter that here. Temperature is 37 Celsius, which is kind of similar to Kuwait this evening. Very, very humid weather, though, unbearable. 30 degrees and 4 knots for our wind and the wind direction. So 30 and so not too bad. 4 knots, so winds shouldn't be an issue. Transition altitude is 15,000 feet. 141 for VAP. And we are now ready for top of descent. Let's go ahead and take a look at the platform altitude, or the initial approach altitude is 3,000 feet, and we need to be at 3,000 at Lübeck. All right. Right, so we are gonna head back here, and this is the top of descent mark, so we are going to reset the MCP altitude to 3,000 feet, and we're going to note that the transition altitude at Abu Dhabi is 15,000 feet. Perfect. Let's take a look at the outside. And yeah, so by the way, in Oman, while the official language of the country is Arabic, you will find a large part of the population speaking in Swahili. Which is a language spoken in Kenya, for example. And I've been to Kenya, by the way. Beautiful country again, beautiful nature, beautiful greenery. So yeah, I think if you're in Oman, you'd probably hear the Swahili. They say jumbo for hello. So I remember when I went to school, a guy has approached me and he said jumbo, and all I knew about jumbo was a Jumbo 747, and I said, yeah, I like jumbos. I like the Jumbo 747, and he started laughing, and then he said Ina Lakunani, which is what is your name in Swahili, and I said, I'm sorry, I don't get you. And then they started speaking in Arabic, of course, which is a language that I understand very well. But yeah, there's a cultural mix in Oman. And if you are there, really, there's a lot to learn about the Omani people and what they do there. I can confirm the humidity here is awful. Oh, is it? Yeah, I think in the Emirates, generally speaking, the weather is just terrible all year long until I think maybe January or December, end of December, mid-December. I think the weather starts, kind of becoming a little more acceptable. Oscar Flight Simulator, hello my friend, welcome. Amari. Farouk, hello my friend, and welcome. Captain Aziz, how are you doing my friend? Hakuna Matata, I don't know what that means. And in use on X-Enviro, my performance is rubbish on that add-on. Look, I don't know. I kind of course, some of you guys may know that I am very close friend with Magnus, the CEO of Threshold. But I haven't had a chat with him in a while to ask him about X-Enviro. So yeah, I don't know. I've stopped following the news on X-Enviro until a stable version that is performance friendly is out. Hey guys, watching you live from the Bahamas. Hello there, my friend. Welcome. What's the weather like at the Bahamas? Jumbo is also a supermarket chain. Oh, is it? How is the feeling for this plane fly-by-wire? It feels very different. It feels strange, to be honest with you. I think the fly-by-wire is... Oh, we need to deset. So, there we go. Yeah. So, I think in terms of just the feel, I've done a couple of flights just to test the aircraft out, and it feels pretty heavy. So it's not very responsive to the input from the flight controls, for one. The fly-by-wire I think is fine, so I think it's done quite well, and I think fly-by-wire is easier to simulate than, for example, the Boeings of the world. So fly-by-wire is simulated fairly well in simulators, as opposed to kind of the Boeings. It's a lot more difficult to simulate how the flight model of a Boeing 737 than it is to simulate the flight model of the Airbus. But all in all, yeah, it flies all right, I think. Do you think that the A330 X-Plane 12 will be better than the JAR A330? Oh, that is a very tough question, Country MC, or is it Country or County? County MC. I don't know. I really don't know, but I'll tell you this. I'm quite excited about X-Plane 12 or X-Plane NG. That might be the name, by the way. So I think maybe Laminar Research will change their strategy of numbers, and maybe they'll call the next version of X-Plane NG, or next generation. But I'm very excited and waiting for it to come out. I've seen some, we know that the lighting engine has definitely changed. We know that the vegetation is now all in 3D, and we know that seasons are there, and the next generation of X-Plane 11, or X-Plane, beg your pardon. So a lot of excitement. I think it calls for a lot of excitement, just what we've been seeing, what Laminar has been releasing. It can't be worse than the JAR A330. Farouk, does it have an alternate and direct law reversions? I have no clue, Farouk. Hopefully the high detail starting point for the default aircraft will allow Zibo style folks to go on NA. Absolutely. And the Zibo, by the way, in my humble opinion, is by far the very best simulation of a Boeing 737 for a flight sim today. It is unmatched. I mean, don't tell me PMDG. No, the Zibo is far better than the PMDG 737 in my view. It's regularly updated. It's got a lot of features, and it really does simulate what the 737 NG has today in real life. And that is by an account, again, of real-world pilots, that commercial pilots that fly the 737. So yeah, definitely in my view, the Zibo wins over any available payware 737 today, hands down. No question, no contest. Rashid Yassin and Jebel Hafid ahead on the UAE-Oman border near Al Ain. Oh, that's good to know. Is that the one here? Is that what you're referring to? By the way, we can put the terrain on ND here. And we continue our descent. Let's take a look here. We're looking good in terms of our altitude. All is looking good. We're not too far, by the way, from our destination now. I agree, the Zibo left the PMDG behind long ago. Totally agree with you there. I second that fully. Captain Aziz, Lockheed L1011 TriStar, best aircraft for me. I love Lockheed 1011. Hopefully we'll see a high fidelity one for either X-Plane or MSFS. Thanks, Rashid. Appreciate it. That's good to know. I agree with you on that thought. Yeah, the Zibo is the 737. PMD working on too many aircrafts. Yeah, maybe they are. Afternoon. Hello there, Captain. I'll say Captain Oatmeal because I'm not sure how to say your first name. But welcome to the stream, my friend. Glad to have you with us today. I need to hurry up and get the A380 out before the real ones are all... yeah, before they're all scrapped. Yeah, yeah, Murph. I think it's a shame to see the A380 going out of business. It's probably not very efficient in terms of fuel consumption. And it is an expensive aircraft to operate, but it is one that is very well loved by passengers. I've had the pleasure of flying many trips on the A380. I traveled business class, and I tell you, it is a joy to fly the A380. Very quiet aircraft, quite spacious. I flew Emirates, so the Emirate fleet is, they've got a really nice setup of their A380s. And if you fly business class, you really enjoy, you know, the ostentatiously luxurious interior of the aircraft, which I happen to really enjoy, especially on longer flights. You really appreciate, you know, the comfort of the seats. You've got the bar area at the very back. You know, if you get fed up from sitting, you can always go back to the bar area and have a drink or whatever. Really fine aircraft for passengers at least. Now of course for airlines, it is an expensive aircraft to you know, to operate, and not very efficient, I think. I have both. I like the Zibo more. PMDG 737 has better sounds and more interesting avionics options, but the Zibo 737 flies a lot better, as well as it's more immersive overall. I agree with you, Farouk, at least on the latter part. I thought the recent struggles and when flights need huge capacity at short notice, I thought the A380 would be... I agree. I agree that the A380 would be a very useful aircraft, and I know for a fact that you know, it has helped really with flights from Dubai to Kuwait, where, you know, the aircraft would be just fully loaded, 500 passengers, whatever, and they used to fly, you know, two or three flights a day, carrying over 1,500 passengers in a matter of, you know, 2 to 3 hours or so. So that's quite amazing. That's quite amazing. It's going to be very sad to see this iconic aircraft go, really. Is there any good pre-built Europe ortho? I'm not sure. I think there is. Not Europe, not all of Europe, but I think there is one of Italy, and there is one of France, Germany. I think those are available on the X-Plane forums, X-Plane org forums. I think you can find them there, but probably not all of Europe. But by the way, folks, was talking to a guy from Kuwait today, Jazeera Airways, hoping to visit soon. Murph, if you're ever in Kuwait, drop me a note on my email. I'll show you around. I'll take you for a spin around the country. We'll go to some interesting places here, at least the interesting places that you can see in Kuwait. But yeah, if you're ever in Kuwait, please drop me a note, and I'll be more than happy to take you out and show you around and treat you to some traditional Kuwaiti food. Spain is also there, Farouk. Yes, I agree with you. Germany. No, so this scenery, folks, so this is now not Ortho 4XP. This is Mr. X, whatever, global, I can't recall the name, but it changes the entire mesh of X-Plane 11. The area around, by the way, today the arrival airport, Abu Dhabi, is a payware scenery of that Thai models, and it's an excellent rendition of Abu Dhabi International Airport. By the way, Abu Dhabi in Arabic is actually pronounced Abu Dhabi, and Dhabi is called like an oryx, if you will, 15,000 feet. So we are going to change this to 9er. Barrel reference is now set, and you can see our speed is now dropping. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the landing system. And we can see the ILS frequency is displayed here, 109.9er. And we continue our descent. We're not too far now from our destination. Can you buy me a ticket to Kuwait and then show me around? Nice one, AvGeek. Yeah. I mean, look, I'll tell you guys, Kuwait is a very hot country, and there isn't really much to do, at least for foreigners. I will be very honest with you. We don't have nightclubs in Kuwait. Alcohol is strictly prohibited in the country, and there's very little to do. But from the very little to do, there is a lot to learn about the culture, and I think all of my American friends who visited Kuwait, a couple of my friends in the U.S. Army who I became very close to in recent years, you know, they really enjoyed being in Kuwait. They enjoyed, you know, trying out all the food that we have, and I'll tell you, the food is one thing that you have got to try in Kuwait. It's very, very delicious. So yeah, I think there's a lot to learn. There is, you know, the concept of Diwaniyah in Kuwait. The Diwaniyah is where, you know, guys meet, and there's different kinds of Diwaniyahs. There's formal Diwaniyahs where people normally speak about, you know, politics, economics, and all sorts of things, philosophy, religion. And there's the less formal Diwaniyahs where, you know, guys gather to, you know, maybe reminisce about their past, play, you know, PlayStation or you know, Xbox or whatever. There's a lot to learn, definitely, about this culture, and I think you will find it enjoyable for maybe, you know, a week's visit or so. You know, definitely, AvGeek, if you're ever in Kuwait, I will be privileged to take you around and show you around. The no alcohol, well, I should have cut down by now. I'm thinking of getting the Flight Factor 767. Is it worth it? Look, I have my reservations on the 767, but it is an enjoyable aircraft. It is very well simulated. It is probably one of the very sophisticated aircraft for X-Plane 11 with a lot of systems simulated in the aircraft. We're approaching 10,000 feet, folks, so we are going to turn on the landing lights. And we are going to turn on seatbelt and non-smoking signs as well. So yeah, I mean, it is an okay aircraft. If you like the between the 767 and the 757, personally, I would pick the 757, but that's just me. I think it's better made, and the modeling and the interior and all that good stuff is better in the 757. Live Cockpit says, I love this 767, highly recommend it. Yeah, I mean, opinions will differ. I know that I've voted this aircraft as one of the best payware at some point, but personally I prefer the 757, but that's just me. Alright, now we are below 10,000 feet, folks. We are not too far from Abu Dhabi International Airport, so we are approaching the end of our flight today, and I think we're due for an external view. So this is our Etihad EY2574 service from Muscat to Abu Dhabi, and we are getting closer to our destination now. Beautiful sky colors there from X-Vision version 2, the Nordic Extreme preset. And we are now cruising at, we are descending to 3,000, and our speed is 250 knots, the maximum allowable speed below 10,000 feet. Altimeter is set. I'm going to reduce the range here just a bit. And you can see that the final approach, we're going to activate the approach phase somewhere right here, and it should take us right to the runway, which is somewhere right over there, I think. Airbus 340 is a very beautiful aircraft, especially in person. I actually haven't been on an A340 yet, but I hope I would in the future. How do you find the frames for Abu Dhabi? I only have a 4G video card. The frames are perfect. There's the airport ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen. We are almost there now, and we're making our final turn before we actually intercept the ILS for runway 31 left. And we are going to activate the final approach momentarily. Alright, we're going to turn on the rest of the lights. Runway turn off lights. Nose lights to takeoff. Wing lights are on. And if we look here, so this is, we need to be at 3,000 here, and we're going to activate final approach right over here. We can see, alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, and we're going to performance, activate approach phase, and confirm. Okay. And now we can see we are decelerating. You can see the localizer and the glide slope needles are now active. And this is the runways right over there. So we are looking good. We're just going to let the aircraft decelerate now. And we are approaching our, it says more drag is needed. So let's give it full. Let the aircraft decelerate. And now we're gonna track the flaps and arm the speed brakes. And that's Abu Dhabi right there. Just really a beautiful approach into Abu Dhabi. That's the runway right there. So once we reach this point here, you can see there's a mark that looks kind of like the top of descent mark here. This is where we're gonna actually...
Hello Q8. Thanks for another informative stream. I really appreciate your content.
Well, thank you very much for Alpha Romeo 777. Scott has donated $25. Scott, thank you very much for your kindness and your support, my friend. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your donation. Very generous of you, my friend. Approach phase is now done. All right, and speed check, flaps 1. Right, says it needs more drag, so let's give it some drag there. All right, and we are, ladies and gentlemen, lining up with the runway now. All right, speed brake is armed. And we are now at 180 knots. Speed check, flaps 2. And now we can see the glide slope needle is now starting to move. And once it is 1 dot above the center line, we will lower the landing gear and select flaps 3. All right, there we go. Gears coming down. Speed check, flaps 3. All right, we are on the glide slope and on the localizer. And we are to land. Speed check, flaps full.
$2,500.
Right, folks, we're looking good. And of course, at 1,000 feet, we will disconnect the autopilot. Now, unfortunately, you cannot click here to disconnect the autopilot, so this is not simulated. So in the real aircraft, you press the red button here on the joystick in order to disconnect the autopilot. So here, we have to do is just press the autopilot button to disconnect the autopilot. We're looking good. Here's a look at the airport as we come into land at Abu Dhabi International. (1,500 feet). Right. Signs are on, cabin ready, landing gears down, spoilers is armed, flaps full, there are no blues, And we are clear to land. Runway 31 left. By the way, we can do autopilot too, and that's Cat 3. So we can actually perform an auto land if we choose to do so. But we're not going to do that today. We're going to disconnect at 1,000 feet. Because it's a lot more fun that way, isn't it?
1,000.
All right, here we go, folks. Autopilot disengaged. My aircraft. Gonna adjust my view just a little bit here. And you have to do very slight changes with this aircraft. And you have to wait. So when you actually make an input on your joystick, you have to give it just a little bit of time to respond. So you have to be careful not to add too much input into your flight controls.
$500.
500 feet.
$400. 400. $300. 200. 100.
100.
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
Reverse green. Knots. Passengers are clapping in the back. I think they like the landing. And we are going to make a turn right here. And head over to the terminal area. So what did you guys think of the landing? I think it was pretty good, huh? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Abu Dhabi International Airport. It was a fun short flight from Muscat in Oman. And steering this aircraft on the ground is not straightforward. It feels really strange. But we're going to park the aircraft at the gate, and then we're going to take a look at the replay. And by the way, the Lewis script that reports the FBM always reports a number higher than the one reported by SimToolKit Pro. So I don't know which one is more accurate, but you know, both are fine. All right, so let's go ahead and retract the flaps. And disarm the speed brake. Beautiful airport and beautiful rendition by Thai models of Abu Dhabi International Airport. Again, if you are interested in the scenery of Abu Dhabi, this is a payware scenery by Thai models available at the Sim Market store. If you like to fly in this part of the world, then this is probably an airport that you would enjoy having as part of your collection of sceneries. Alright, let's bring the aircraft here. There we go. All right, parking brake is set, and we can start the APU master, APU bleed, and we can turn off our engines. And now we can take a look at the replay. So let's do that. We'll put it right here, maybe slightly closer. There we go.
Speed, speed, speed.
Let's see if we can get the wing view right there. Engine. Flyby. Tower view. Look at that. Looks pretty good. Plane spotting in X-Plane is something I enjoy doing. And it is, in X-Plane, when you look at aircraft landing, it is actually very believable. Here's the aircraft as we come into land. Again, slight changes are required. Got to be very careful with this aircraft. Here it comes. Thank you, Captain Aziz. Appreciate it, my friend. S. May 17th, thank you very much, my friend. Nice. Nice wing flex. See the reversers. Ah, we forgot the brakes, didn't we? That's the clap from the passengers. And it says there, Abu Dhabi International Airport, as you can see right there. Really a very good rendition of the airport. Well, I want to take you guys here back to the terminal area. And I'm going to change the time slightly. So let me just do this. Because during daylight, you can really see the work here on the airport. So it's really, really nice modeling of of Abu Dhabi International Airport. Done quite well by Time Models. Well, folks, this is pretty much it. And I hope that you've enjoyed watching this live stream as much as I enjoyed streaming it for you. I want to thank all of you today for your support, for your kind words, for being here with me. I really had a lot of fun. I hope you did the same. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for tuning in, and bye-bye for now.